called Burn It In. Once I was at a beach off the west coast of Florida. It was New Year's Eve, and that yellow moon hung over the Gulf like a swaying lantern. I was with a friend, and the wind picked up, and I looked over at him, and he just looked at this scene for a while, and then he closed his eyes. I asked him what he was thinking. He said, I wanted to look at this scene and memorize it, burn it into my brain so that I could call it up when I wanted to, so that I could have it with me always. I too have my recorders. I burn these things into my brain. I burn these things onto pages. I pick and choose what needs to be said, what needs to be recorded, what needs to be remembered. When I first went to college, I was studying to be a computer science engineer. You see, I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to beat everyone else, because burned into my brain were the taunts of kids who were in cliques so that others could do the thinking for them. Because burned in my brain were the nights from all of those high school dances that I never went to. Because burned into my brain were for all of those people that I knew that I was better than, that thought that they were better than me. And yeah, I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to beat everyone else, but I hated what I was doing. I hated what I saw around me. I hated all of the pain people put each other through, and all of these memories just kept flooding me. So in my spare time, to keep me sane, to keep me alive, I wrote down the things I could not say. That was how I recorded things. When I looked around me and I saw friends raping my friends, I burned into these nightmares with a pen, and yes, I have this recorded. I have all of this recorded. I mean, what did you think I was doing when I was stuffing handwritten notes into my pockets or typing long hours in the night? In college, I had two roommates who, in their spare time, would watch movies in our living room and cross-stitch. I never understood this. In my spare time, I wasn't watching others' movies or weaving thread to keep my hands busy. I was sitting in the corner of a cafe, scribbling into my notebook. I was sitting at the university computer lab, slamming my hands, my fingers into that keyboard, because there were too many atrocities in the world. There were too many injustices that I had witnessed. There were too many people who had wronged me, and I had a lot of work to do. See, there had to be a record of what you had done. Did you think your crimes would go unpunished? Did you think you could come back years later, slap me on the back with a friendly hello, and think that I wouldn't remember? You see, that's what I have my poems for, so there will always be a record of what you have done. I have defiled many pages in your honor, you who swung your battle axe high above your head and thought that no one would remember in the end. Well, I made a point to remember. Yes, I have defiled many pages, and have you defiled many women? You who rapes my friends, you who rapes my sisters, you who rapes me. Is that what makes you a strong man? You want to know why I do the things I do? I had to record these things. That is what kept me together. When people were dying, that is what kept me together. When my friends were shipped off to war, that is what kept me together. And when my friends were raped and left for dead, that is what kept me together. And when no one bothered to notice this, or change this, or care about this, these recordings kept me together. I needed to record these things to remind myself of where I came from. I needed to record these things to remind myself that there are things to value and things to hate. I needed to remind myself that there are things worth fighting for, worth dying for. I needed to record these things to remind myself that I am alive. Thank you. Sorry, that was so long. I'll do this now first really quick. I'm the editor of a literary magazine, and I'm not looking like the really long poems unless you really want to like give me really long poems. So I have email addresses for the new town that I'm moving to. It's not changing, but yes, I do have a P.O. box in Intercourse because I figured if I'm moving out in the middle of nowhere, I am getting something in Intercourse because I think
box in Intercourse. Isn't that
that's my plan.
appropriate?
So if you want to submit anything, I've got an email address, blah blah blah. Poetry, I've got a website, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Thank you, Lisa. You're a goddess. Oh, and she's picking seats, but thank you very much for everything, and hopefully
You'll be back.
She'll be
so
back.
Don't give the big hurrah right now.
Thank you,
okay.
Angel. I'll give them
Angel. Boy, that's something I've never been called.